Really appreciate you coming. My name is Kelly. I'm one of the facilitators here at Workforce Solutions, Rural Capital Area. And today we're going to talk about making work in Texas work for you. So in our overview of the website today, we're going to talk about the tools for job seekers, those career assessments and those online learning resources. Work in Texas is now a job search engine, and you can set up a virtual recruiter to do the job search for you. There's also a resume builder and a cover letter tool. We'll also discuss that state of Texas application. And labor market information, that is really really important statistical data. You know, should that job description not have a salary range on it, that's where that labor market information can help you know your worth for that position in your area. Now, before we go into the presentation, I want to let you know we will go through the presentation, which definitely covers all the top sections in Work in Texas. But at the end of the presentation, I like to go into the website and just navigate a little bit as well to show a few features. But let's get started by talking about those tools for job seekers. Now, when you do a job search and Work in Texas, you can have access to thousands of job openings. And depending on how the employer sets the job up in our system, you can apply directly through the Work in Texas website by submitting your resume straight to that employer. You can also create customized job alerts and receive customized notifications as well. There's information on financial resources with links to those resources in your area. And if you're considering doing a career pivot, that labor market information can give you that occupational outlook to let you know what the projection is for that particular position in your area so that you know that you're making the right move. And then you've probably noticed when you pull a job up and Work in Texas, it has now a built-in applicant tracking system. So it is giving you that comparison of your of your resume to the job description skills and requirements. And it's important to know that match rate before you submit it to the employer. That way you make it to that hiring manager's desk. So like I mentioned, Work in Texas is now a job search engine. And there is a lot of customizable search criteria now in the system where you can really pinpoint and fine-tune your searches. Now, Spider Jobs from other job boards, because it can pull jobs in, as an example from Craigslist, where we may not have any information in regards to who that employer is, and that's what we refer to as those spider jobs. Now, that advanced search option, that is definitely, I want to go in and show you some of that different criteria within that search feature. And if you are looking to relocate outside of the state of Texas, you can search for jobs outside of the state right there in your profile. And do know that we have security scans in place for any fraudulent job postings. Now, career assessments, you know, Work in Texas has a lot more in that profile than just all these job search features. You know, on the dashboard, if you go into career services, this is just a great way to learn about your skills, your personality, and your work interest. And once you have all those features in your profile, it can increase the quality of your job matches and searches. Now, let's go through what all is available under the career services widget. That first one is going to be career tips. This is going to allow you to view a guide to the steps you should take to follow the path of selecting that ideal career or occupation. Career Explorer, if you don't have a specific career in mind, you can select this option to learn what career or type of job best suits you, as well as which areas you might need to receive some training or education. Now, your career match. Choose this option to review how your background and skills match up to your desired occupation. You can see information on wages, education, experience, and available positions. Now that Career Informer, if you have a career in mind, you can select that option to highlight specific occupations, display information on wages, employers, and jobs that might be available, as well as the details of available education or training programs, the job requirements, and the overall nature of the work involved. Now that last one, that's the Job Market Explorer. You can choose a career or occupation by analyzing the current labor market trends of where you want to work, including wages, employment projections, and educational requirements. Let's dive into that career exploration just a little bit more. When you go into the Career Explorer, you can choose any of these options to determine how to find a career or an occupation that suits you. Now that first one, that is the match your skills. This will help you identify the skills that you have and match them to a career or occupation that suits you. You can then review the jobs that employers are currently hiring for that match those skills, or you can find training to improve the skills you need to land that position. Now, matching your work interest. This will allow you to explore the type of work activities that you'd like and find exciting, and then it'll allow you to view occupations that will satisfy those interests. Now, the process of determining your interest profiler usually takes about 15 minutes. Now, match your work values. This will help you find occupations that are in line with your work values by prioritizing a list of work tasks. You can then match occupations to your values and view available jobs in that field. Match your knowledge of tools and technology. You want to select the technical skills you have and the tools you use to identify occupations that you may be interested in. It can help you find jobs that have that occupation to see if you qualify for those specific job requirements. Now, match your occupation. This will help you find occupations that are similar to your current or previous positions based on the required knowledge, skills, and abilities, as well as the normal work environment and the work activities. Now that last one, that's a career ladder. So you can see how people in your chosen occupation climb the career ladder. It will help you find the occupation that job seekers move towards and away from. Now let's talk about the educational services right there in Work in Texas. If you go down to the Education Service widget and you click on the More Education Services, that's where you can get access to all the online learning resources that we have available. Now, right there in your profile is Work in Texas, is the Allison trainings and the metrics learning. But also here at Rural Capital Area, we have the LinkedIn Learning platform, and there are thousands of trainings in both hard and soft skills. So if you haven't gained access to LinkedIn Learning, please reach out and I'll send you that invitation. Now, once you're in the online learning resources section of your profile, you can choose any of these options to enhance your knowledge and skills. So on the online learning page, that is where you will find links to websites that offer a variety of online learning and training courses that you can utilize. Now, these links are grouped in the different sections, so let's go through those quickly. Like I mentioned, the first one is the Allison online courses. We have metrics learning, workplace skills, education K through 12, and colleges that have provided links to training as well. There's business and technology, writing and language, and a miscellaneous section that includes some online CPR courses and some financial trainings in regards to budgeting your checkbook and things of that nature. Now, the virtual recruiter, this is a really neat tool, and it's definitely one that I like to showcase when we go navigate the website, because you can create unlimited virtual recruiter alerts. And you can also receive those customized notifications, and you can take direct action from those notifications. So what I mean by that is when you set up your virtual recruiter, you want to receive those email alerts of the positions that the system has found for you. And that will allow you to take that direct action. So as an example, in that email, if you see a particular position that you would like to look at, the links in that email will allow you to view that job description without having to go back and log into your Work in Texas profile. So to set up a virtual recruiter, what you want to do is you're going to put in your occupational keywords, that salary range, your education, where you like the system to go look to find those positions, and then you'll simply hit the search. Now, what happens is your job listings will appear, but at the bottom of the page, if you see this is a really successful search, you want to save this as a virtual recruiter. So click that orange Save button. And that will prompt your virtual recruiter alert. Now, I always like to tell my clients to be sure when you are naming your virtual recruiter, because the system will allow you to have as many as you like. So use part of your naming convention to be this criteria that you see down here. So for this particular session, we have that we were searching the whole state of Texas for remote positions that were office and administrative industry. This criteria right here will disappear once you hit that save button. So just be sure that you kind of can identify that virtual recruiter by your name. Now, like I said, you can choose how often to run the virtual recruiter, and the notification method will default to the message center. But like I said, be sure and check this email box so that you can receive those direct emails. Now, the system will let you have an expiration date, and you can do that up to 6 months out. Now, that resume and cover letter builder, once you have your core background completing your profile, you can create a resume in no time. It'll also allow you to upload a resume. Now, having your primary and secondary occupations are key so that you can get those occupational codes that can help you get those keywords in your resume to increase your applicant tracking system score. Now, if you have a resume that you're currently utilizing, don't worry. The system will allow you to upload it when you go into the resume section, and you can have up to 5 active resumes at any time. But don't worry, even if a resume goes inactive or is deleted, they're all still in your profile. So don't worry, you haven't lost anything. Now, there is a couple ways to navigate Work in Texas. There's that left-hand navigation where all the menus are on the left side, or like I had mentioned, we have the widgets as well. So this is how you can access your resume builder by utilizing the left-hand navigation. We'll go down to that quick menu and click on the resume builder like you see here. Or if you utilize your widgets, you want to go to your employment plan widget. And that will allow you to see how many active resumes you have in the system, and you can go directly to them. Now, you want to enter the title of your resume, and this is really important because this is how employers can pull up your resume should they go in the system and do a search. So if you have maybe different industry-based resumes, be sure that you have titled them somewhat to the occupations that you're tailoring them for. Now, Work in Texas also has a resume best practices, and there's 10 tips that you can utilize to be sure that your resume is in tip-top shape. So like I mentioned, you see here, we have the example of the project manager. This will help you come up employer searches should the employer come into the system and look for a project manager. Now, if you are still working on your resume, you do have an option to make it not available online for employers to see until you're ready. And then once you create the resume, like I said, the system will automatically give you that score rate. It will show you if you've completed all the steps and let you know if it is online by just looking at these 3 sections here. Now down at the bottom, it will also show you tips or give you insight on where you might need some areas of improvement within your resume. Now the system does default to the chronological system resume. I think that's what most job seekers kind of go to. We're all accustomed with that. But you do have some other options for different templates. Should you want to try out some of those others, just simply click on the template, and that's where you can go in to look at the different formatting options that are available in Work in Texas. Now you see here, we've got these different tools. Once you've created your resume, you can make a copy of this resume. You can easily print the resume right from your profile or email it straight to that employer. Now you can also download the resume, and it gives you quite a few file formats, as well as delete the resume. But like I said, even if you hit that delete button, it's still in your profile. Now, clicking on this little gear here, that's going to open up different formatting sections that you can utilize in your resume. It will allow you to turn specific sections on and off, or you can move certain sections and put them in where you would like them to be, basically moving them up and down, or like I said, toggling them off. So the employer searchable items, that is right underneath your resume, and that's where you can go and see how your resume has been formatted, what employers can pull up, what that criteria is for that specific resume, and you can always customize your resume to match that specific job search you're looking for. So that state of Texas application. You know, the system will allow you to create as many state of Texas applications that you would like to have in the system. Once you go through that wizard and complete all the different fields within that application, at that time, it will allow you if you want to download or print. Now, I do like to let my clients know who are interested in those state opportunities. If you go in to your Work in Texas profile, and maybe you just want to pull up a template that you've done and make some changes to it, you know, if you see here, if I come over and I click this edit button, it's not going to allow me to edit all the fields of that particular template. Specifically the knowledge, skills, and abilities section, which is very important for state applications. So if you're looking to make some edits and this particular edit button doesn't allow you to go to all the sections that you're wanting to make those edits to, what I recommend is pulling up the job that you're interested in applying to in Work in Texas, select that specific template that you're wanting to make the edits to, and go through the wizard. At that time, the wizard will allow you to edit all those important fields. So labor market information. Remember, this is that important statistical data. Should you not have a salary range on that job description you're interested in, that's where you can go to labor market services right there on your dashboard and look at what your worth is for that occupation in your area. Now, it's also going to give you access to extensive tables and graphics so that you can understand that projected growth should you be doing a career pivot. It'll show you what the high, medium, and range salary is for that position and how many positions are expected within the next 5 years. So this is just a sample screenshot of Williamson County when we were looking at the employers with the most job postings in that area. So you see at the time that we took this screenshot, we had Baylor, Scott and White, HCA Healthcare, Dell Incorporated, General Motors, and Electronic Arts. And should you be a candidate for one of these industry positions, you can click on the links over here to go straight to those job openings. Now, work in Texas is ever evolving, and they do have a need help or more information widget right there on your dashboard. The Assistance Center will help you find answers to questions you may have or issues that you're running into. And that Learning Center has self-paced training videos and tutorials that you can utilize. So when you're looking at the individual courses, they have a training on how to use the site, how to complete a registration for job seekers, how to do that state of Texas application, building your background through paths, creating your resume by that comprehensive method, finding a job or doing a job search, the virtual recruiter for individuals, or just your individual workspace. It'll give you an overview of your profile. Now, the Online Assistance Center, once you access that, there's going to be, the first one is about the site. That second one is a frequently asked questions with answers. That third option is a quick reference cards that'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to complete certain tasks within the system. There is a site map and a site search. And then you have preferences on how you can view your profile within the system. That's a sample of one of the quick reference cards so that you can see those step-by-step instructions. And they have quick reference cards for understanding the user interface, adding your personal and background information, searching for jobs and filtering your sorts by results, setting up automatic job search alerts, identifying an occupation or a career exploration, researching employers in the job market, or find recruiting events. Okay, let me pause for a moment while I go and log in to Work in Texas. Stop sharing really quickly. Okay, so this is the profile I like to utilize for training. This is Sarah, job seeker, and she is in accounting and bookkeeping. So the first thing I would tell a client if they came through the door and they wanted to do an application or a resume is, first of all, let's be sure that your core background is up to date before we create any job seeking documents. So what I'm going to do is I'll be using the left-hand navigation menus, and we want to go down to my individual workspace. Now you want to go down to my resources, and then we're going to go to my background. And again, it's my individual workspace down to my resources, and then my background. Now, like I mentioned, there's quite a few ways to navigate Work in Texas. You can also utilize these as a way to navigate the system. We call these the filing cabinets. You have that left-hand navigation, the filing cabinets, and the widgets as well. You can close these filing cabinets if you don't utilize them, and they'll be up there should you need them. So the core background, now there is a wizard that will walk you through all of the steps of completing your background, but I find when you have information in here, it's easy enough just to scroll to be sure that we've captured everything and it's complete. So the first items are going to be your resume items as far as your education, and you can easily edit, delete, or add new. Any occupational license, certifications, or training that you've received. Employment history. You know, I do recommend having all your employment history and Work in Texas. When you could create that resume, you do have the options of picking and choosing what you would like to have on your resume. But, you know, ultimately we have to follow the employer's application instructions. As an example, Health and Human Services, when you apply for a position with them, they say they want all your work history. So Work in Texas can be that great resource to hold all your work history there. And then as you're looking the employer's instructions, you can pull out what you need to showcase your qualifications for that position. And you'll see you can easily go in, edit, delete, or add any new employment history. Okay, the job skills. Now, this is probably going to be the most time-consuming feature, these next two here. So I highly recommend that when you go into your profile, click on this Edit Job Skills. Because sometimes in our positions, we wear those multiple hats and we have so many different transferable skills. Work in Texas has broken out all the skills into those different industries. So this is where I want you to go through and click on all these tabs and showcase your different, transferable skills. Maybe you had a position where you were an office manager. So you did some clerical, you did some HR, you did some finance, accounts payable, things of that nature. Now, all you have to do is simply go through and read the skill. And if you're comfortable promoting you have that skill, just check that box. Don't worry, no employers or anyone can come in and see the skills that you've selected. But once you have gone through all of these, we can go do a skills job search once you have that completed. Now, let me hit the back button. And then the next section I want you to take some time to go through is going to be the tools and technology. So this is all of the technical skills, the hardware, software, different machines that you've utilized in your positions. And you can go in and do the same thing. Just check the box if you're comfortable promoting that you've worked with that particular technology or machinery. Now we're going into our resume items. Now, if you attend our resume workshop, I'm not a fan of having an objective on a resume. That is that prime real estate at the top of your resume. And I'm all about having that summary of qualifications. Use that space to summarize what you're going to do for the employer you're submitting that resume to. And our job description is going to kind of be our marching orders. So it's all about having your ability, professional summary, so that hiring manager sees how you're qualified for that position. Now, if you have any honors or activities, those awards, recognition, those accolades, consider putting those in your marketing tool. It showcases what a great individual you are on the job. If you're applying for a sales position and you got salesman of the quarter 3 years in a row, absolutely toot that horn and put it right under your professional summary. That way that a hiring manager sees what a great employee you are on the job. You also have a section for additional information, and you can add your detailed references. So this is really important. This is where you have your primary and your secondary occupations. And so this will allow you to have those keywords in your resume that we spoke of, so we can get the highest match rate possible. Now, let me show you how you can go in and make a change to one of your occupations, should you have something in there that you're no longer interested in. Just simply click on the Edit Desired. It's going to ask you which one, and so I'll just change the primary. So when it populates up, I'm just going to type in and you'll see the system will start to populate options, and then I can just kind of take a look and go financial and investment. And so that's how you can go in and make those changes for your primary and your secondary. Okay, excuse me, I do have to scroll. Okay, so now that you have those, this is going to be your desired job type. So this is going to be if maybe you were looking for seasonal employment, temporary employment, if you're just looking for that regular full-time position. Now you can have which shift you're interested, your days that you're available, if you are willing to relocate, willing to work remotely. And like I said, you can have multiple desired job type profiles in the system. Now, desired locations. You see, I've got a few in Sarah's background, a couple different counties. Let me show you how you can go in and add multiple counties to your location preference. Now, I'm not a fan of utilizing the zip code. You know, I live in a rural area, and Bastrop County has several zip codes. And I find that the radius on the zip code doesn't stretch out far enough to meet my needs. So that's why I prefer dropping in by county. So to add multiple counties, once you select it, just simply go right here and select the multiple counties option. And then what we're going to do is from this drop-down menu, we're simply just going to drop our counties of interest into the box. So of course, I'm going to do my home county. And I also like to include Travis County because it is close by. And let's throw in, today I'm in Fayette County. So let's go back and add Fayette as well. And that's how you can have that multiple counties in your profile. Hit continue, and then we can simply save them. And I have to scroll. I apologize. Okay. So desired salary. When you go into this particular section, I do have to throw out a little bit of a disclaimer. If you are receiving unemployment benefits from Texas Workforce Commission, you may have some specific verbiage from the commission in your desired salary section where it may not allow you to make any changes because of what the benefits you're receiving. Excuse me. But if you want to, excuse me, if you want to go in and make a change, I want to let you know, Work in Texas doesn't really have an option where you can put in that specific salary number. It has it broken out in different ranges. And everyone, I call it that magical number that we all are looking for our family and for our self-sufficiency. But I just want to throw out, if you've got an opportunity, you know, let's say that you're making, at your last position, you were making $16.75 an hour. You know, if I selected that $16.75, because that's what I was making at my last position, and let's say a job opened up right down the street from me for $16.50. Now, I'm not saying Work in Texas wouldn't show it to you because it will give you access to all the positions. But because I selected I want that $16.75 or more, it might not be at the top of my list of searches. It could be down in maybe page 2 or 3. So if you have the freedom or the luxury to be able to maybe go down one section, in this case, I'm going to do the $14.50, just to kind of open up that window of opportunities to see what's available within my area. And that $16.50 would have been right at the top, right? Because I'm now saying $14.50 or more. And sorry, I have to scroll. Okay, so now we go into the driver's license information. Any endorsements you may have if you are bilingual, security clearances, your typing speed, any websites associated with your positions you can add to your profile. And as you see, that is all that's in your core background. Now that we know the profile is up to date and we're good to go, let's create a resume. So I'm simply going to go to, using the left-hand navigation, I'm going to go down to my resume builder. You can also, once you view things, they'll come under your recently viewed, or again, if you go down to the quick menu like we showed in the presentation, the resume builder. Okay, so like I had mentioned, All your resumes are always in here. If you partially started a resume, you accidentally deleted, have no worry. They're all in the system, and you can use the drop-down menu to find that specific resume. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a resume. So let's hit the create button. And I'm just going to call this one finance. I don't need to go through that step-by-step process because I know my core background is up to date. If you are interested in utilizing the wizard and go through step-by-step, absolutely, it will take you through every process to create that resume. But I'm going to hit save. And there we go. So now that we see that we have our completed resume, you know, we've got our applicant tracking system score. We see that it's complete. You know, Sarah is a generic profile, so I keep her information offline. Here's where we can go in and make those system templates, look at the other formatting options that are available, and the other options that I spoke of in the presentation. And if you hover over them, you'll see that it gives you the information of what you need. And again, these are where you can go in to play with your different formatting or those options. And then here is where I wanted to show you those employer, the searchable items are always down below, where you can go in and look at different skills. But now I want to take this resume and let's do a job search with it. So I am going to, again, utilizing the left-hand navigation, I will go down to my quick menu and click on job search. Now, these are a few of the features that I like to show you because Work in Texas will always default to this standard tab. But let's go ahead and click on the resume tab. We can grab the resume that we just created. Now, I always tell my clients to open up these little check boxes so that you can see your criteria to verify that this resume is exactly what you're wanting. Sometimes when I open these up, it will default to something else. So we just want to confirm that we're still searching our multiple areas with multiple sources. And let's hit search. Okay, nice, nice. So we found 93 jobs, and just kind of looking, I see they are based on some of the skills that are in Sarah's resume. Remember, she's in finance. So try using your resume to see if you can get that successful job search. Nice. Okay, let me do another kind of job search. So again, I'm going to go back to the job search feature, and now it's under my recently viewed, so I can easily go back. But I wanted to show you that skills job search that I had mentioned. Once you get all of your skills and tools and technology, click on that skills tab and let's see what we can do and see how the system defaulted back. You've always got to watch. For the sake of this presentation, I'm not going to go back into this and change that, but that's why I always say check your criteria just to confirm that the system hasn't defaulted on some of these search criteria. I think it does that because that's my home base. So when you're doing a skills job search, this is where you can go in. Now you'll see Work in Texas defaults to that 50% match rate. But if you click on that, you can actually go in and tighten that search or maybe open it up. Since it took out my Travis County, because that's where I like to utilize the skills to get some jobs, let's loosen it up and match my skills at a 25%. Now, remember I talked about your personal skills, your work interest, and work values. You can also utilize those in your searches as well once you get those in your background. And for now, I will do tools and technology at 50 and my job skills at a 25. And let's see what happens. I usually don't like it when it takes this long. That's not a good sign. Okay, come on now. As you can see, it picks on everyone frequently. Of course, it does this when I'm live. I've got a feeling it's not able to find any positions in Bastrop County, but it's steadily looking for me, so. Hey, okay. So this can give you an opportunity. You know, this is looking at the skills that I had and utilizing them in my search. And so it found quite a few positions in Bastrop County. I'm actually pretty impressed. Last time I tried this particular search in a webinar, it didn't find results. So I even have some accounting positions. And, you know, Sarah does some cashier seasonal work, so that all counts as well. So nice. Now you can see I can save this as a virtual recruiter, my skills search. So let me quickly go into that and show you. Remember, I would want to call this my skills search for Bastrop County when I named it. And as you can see, it'll allow me to run it daily, weekly, monthly, or inactivate it. Remember to check to get that email notification. And I'm not going to save this particular search. She has quite a few virtual recruiters set up. So let me just cancel that real quick. Come on, system. I have one more thing I want to show before we end the meeting. Come on. Let me see if I can just go there. So what I want to do is I'm going to go back to the job search tab. Okay, sorry about that. The system took a little longer than expected. So the last thing I want to show you in regards to a job search is all of the features that you have available to you in the advanced tab. And what I want to do is I'm just quickly going to go through all of these different sections so that you can see the different criteria. So the first one is that area selection. So remember, in the core background, I see now it's holding my the three counties that I selected. The job source criteria, I see it has unchecked. Let me recheck all of those so that it goes and uses that search engine capability. The next one is a job order number search. If someone gave you a job number and said, go look that up and work in Texas, you could put that job number here. Or if they gave you multiple job numbers, you could place them there and separate them by comma. Now, should you have the employer agency ID, you could place that there. Now, next is that keyword search, and we're all pretty familiar with that. Just be sure that you look at the criteria that Work in Texas gives you on where you want that keyword to be. So is it an exact match or partial? Is it part of the job title, or are you looking for specific things in the job description? Also, exclude jobs that have this keyword. So I had a particular client, he was a delivery driver. So delivery driver would be his keyword, but he would come down here and say, exclude jobs that have the word pizza or Amazon in the job description, because he did not want to be a driver for those types of positions. So that could help as well. If you're seeing search, when you do a search, if something comes up, try and see and exclude that if that will help. Now, the job occupation criteria, if you are recently out of the military, this will help you find your military occupation, or you can search by industry. State job classification criteria, this will allow you to search for state positions by job title. The employer criteria, here's where you can look for employer name, industry codes, or different sectors. You can say if there's a specific employer that you don't want to come up in your search, you can disregard, put their name in here so they won't show. Now, this is pretty neat. This will allow you to look for what kind of employer. Maybe you want to work for a small mom and pop business, or maybe you're looking for that large corporation position. This can help with what type of employer. Is it the private sector? Are you looking for state positions, staffing positions, government, education? This will allow you to have do searches by different items that you may have: federal tax ID, employer information. Here is the employer characteristic. So if you're looking for disability friendly, minority, veteran, or woman owned. Now, general job order criteria. So this is where you can put in how much experience they're looking for, any education programs, your education level, the salary range you're looking for, the type of employment it is, how long the job has been posted, if it's full-time or part-time, what shift it is, how long the job will last, is the job a green job, or is the job a remote position? Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to do a search, and let's just select yes. I want to show you how Work in Texas can be utilized for remote opportunities. And before we continue, I just want to say, you see this option is either a yes or a no. So if you go into the system and you do one of these searches, I have to throw out a little disclaimer to let you know, it could be that the position is 100% remote. It could be the position is maybe you get to work at home 1 week a month or 1 day a week, things of that nature. That's where you really have to do a little bit of extra legwork when you do this kind of search to look at those job descriptions to see what kind of remote opportunity that is. But like I said, we're going to hit yes so I can kind of show you some of that. And that'll be the only criteria I fill out under the advanced tab. Okay, that preferred job order. This will allow you to pick special job categories, how many hours you're interested in, if there's an age requirement, a certain job benefits you might be looking for, if you need access to public transportation, affirmative action, an enterprise zone, your driver's license, any endorsements you may have, your typing speed, security clearance, language proficiency if you're bilingual, different job categories, and of course we go back into that skills as well. But like I said, and that's all that's in the advanced tab, but for the sake of this search, I'm just going to leave it on remote, yes, and it should be the 3 counties that I selected earlier. Hopefully this one won't take as long to process. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Okay. So let me show you a few quick things. Let's say we go into this position here with the Texas Workforce Commission. I want to show you where you can see some of the work at home information should you do a search with that criteria. So this was how it populated up into our search because the employer selected the yes button. Now, like I said, you really need to go through and review the job descriptions of the positions that you're interested in to see what they say as well about those positions and what the work at home options are. Now you can see here, if you go to the location or the work site information, it tells you it's on Trinity Street. And again, here, this was where that work at home option is selected as a yes. So let's say this was a particular position that you were very much interested in, and you go, I need to save this job so that I can update my resume to match this position and look at my state of Texas application. So if you want to save a position in your profile and come back to it, just hit this heart right here, and that's where you'll see your job has been saved. Now let me show you where it saved it to. It's right there on your dashboard. So when you go to your dashboard, what you're going to look for is the Smart Seeker. And under the Smart Seeker, you will see job posts that you've liked, and that's where that particular position will be saved. You have to hit the heart button. It may not be under the viewed, so I wouldn't trust that option. Be sure and hit that heart, and that's where you'll know for sure that you've got that position saved and you can come back to it. Now, quickly on your dashboard, before I end the meeting, I'd just like to show that you can customize your dashboard and have your widgets where you like them placed. We put our workshops here in the calendar. That's where you can go in and register for the different sessions. And we also send our Zoom registrations to the Message Center. So that's where you can go into the Message Center. Should you not be able to find your Zoom registration link, it's going to be right there. That's where we send them through. Work in Texas will send these messages to your email address, but sometimes it does it in different batches, and there could be delays in those batches. So if you're ever looking for one of our Zoom registration emails, do know that it is in your Work in Texas Message Center. Now, let me just quickly go back to the dashboard. Because there are so many widgets, take advantage of the ones you utilize. You can move these around and put them wherever you want them to be. You can have the ones you use the most up at the top, and then the other ones can fall where you like. If there's some that you don't utilize, you can come down and configure your widgets and turn those specific ones off. Okay, well, I hope that helps you navigate Work in Texas. I really appreciate you coming. If there's anything we can do to help you with your job search process, please reach out. That's what we're here for, is to guide you through. Thank you for coming. I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope to see you at the next workshop. Bye, everyone.